Welding. Yo. Welcome to the show, it's mildly frustrating. We got 3 hosts here, keep the vibes elevating. 2 brothers and a buddy, yeah, we're navigating through the daily grind that keeps our patience deflating. Inflation's on the rise, man, the price is just a joke. Traffic jams, tech fails, it's enough to make you choke. Relationships, the weather jobs that make you broke. Sit back, relax, listen in, let's provoke. Mildly frustrating, we're here to vent and chat. Laughing through the madness, here we're dealing with all that. From the mundane to insane, we cover every spat. Mildly frustrating, where the real talk's at. Movies let us down and we're always feeling poor. Discussing all the moments that make us wanna roar, but we keep it light, find the humor in the lore. 3 friends on a mic, you always come back for more. So tune in, turn it up and let's get this started. We're breaking down the daily grind up for the faint-hearted. From tech glitches to bad drivers, we're never half-hearted. Mildly frustrating, let's get this party started. Frustrating, we're here to vent and chat. Laughing through the madness, yeah, we're dealing with all that. From the mundane to insane, we cover every spat. Mildly frustrating, where the real talk's at. Yeah, it's mildly frustrating, come along for the ride. We're turning all the rants into something bona fide. Join the crew, hit subscribe, we're here to provide. Mildly frustrating, let's take it all in stride. Yeah, mildly. Yeah.
Welcome to the Mildly Frustrating Podcast, the podcast for all things, you guessed it, mildly frustrating. We're here with Danny. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
And I'm good. What's up, buddy? How you feeling, Nick?
I'm awesome.
All right. You were half asleep for a split second. I got worried. I was like, does he know he's still here? He's on a different podcast in his head.
Yeah. You got to multitask.
How's your week been, Nick? I know you've been having some struggles at work. I don't know struggles, but you've had some extra stuff going on at work. How are you holding up?
You mean the detaining of people and tossing people out and the guys throwing
detaining?
Yeah, Nick's been getting into some shenanigans.
I've been making my money.
Yeah, kind of. You've been making money.
It's the same money, but I've been earning it.
So you want to give us, as much as you feel like discussing.
Yeah. So.
And that you're legally allowed to. So if you want to give us names and social security numbers, that'd be great.
Address.
Yeah, so Belinda James. No, it's good.
And mugshots, that'd be ideal.
Yeah. So
sorry. You thought about it for a second. You're like, no. I'll send those over.
When we turn the cameras off. But so which ones do you want to hear? The boyfriend running over the girl, or almost running over the girlfriend with her own car, or the seizures? Which one?
Well, it depends. Was it your seizure?
No. Was it your girlfriend?
No.
Here comes the seizure. Whichever one.
Close, but no cigar.
I guess. Whichever one makes you more frustrated. That's kind of the topic here.
I mean, they're all a little frustrating, but also pretty entertaining / exciting. What can I say? Let's see.
Okay, sir.
Well, let's go with the most annoying one, which would be the stubborn girl, and that would be so during the seizures. We had Hey, hold on. We can tell. Yeah, I actually have some stories to say about that one. I don't know if it's podcast friendly. I don't really want to shade that shadow, but
it's podcast friendly as much as there's a general thing that happened that's really annoying.
Yeah, honestly, maybe switching the names. Anyway, back on track. So essentially, at work, though, we had somebody that typically gets seizures. She's had a couple, and we've had to deal with it.
Here comes a seizure.
Something of that nature.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is, this is the most that our badge system is going to get any use, but that they were installing our badge systems to the individual companies that I work for, and so one of the trainees who shouldn't have access to that area was able to get through because they were actually drilling it in as she was walking through.
She just walked in.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry, I had to burp. Yeah,
it's okay.
Something.
I had a huge burp. I was like, I don't want to give that one to the camera.
Smell the fart acting.
Oh, but
It's Joey.
So when she went in, she started. Oh, I'm assuming that because they went up to me and they're like, "Hey, call 911." So I was on the phone with the ambulance at the time. But as they were going to me, I guess she went out of the classroom and was snooping, being nosy, whatever, and went over with the other agents that were like, "Somebody help us! Somebody's having a seizure." At the time, one of our directors was already there assisting them, and she's familiar with the procedure and stuff, so she was doing it. This trainee just came in and was telling them what to do and telling them that everything that they were doing was stupid. And of course, the director is one of the. Oh, by the way, I guess this is something I should mention because it is affecting our main clients and bosses, like our COO was there and everything. So tensions were high, and I think it was trickle down frustration just across the board, which is why I think a lot of things were happening. But yeah, so yeah,
you fixing your non-existent glasses.
I know. I took the glasses off, and habits die hard, huh? That's mildly frustrating. How about that? But so she's essentially talking and telling our director that she's stupid while she's going through this frustrating event while our bosses are there, looking at us. So a lot of things are happening. She doesn't even know who it is. She's like, just go, like, go right now because you're not helping the situation. I don't know exactly what was going on. I'm just going based off of what I,
so you tackled her and put her in handcuffs. Tased her.
Now, so that being said, when I went over to assess the situation, I already called the ambulance. And I just went over to let them know, hey, I got the ambulance and, see what's going on.
Yeah.
She was like, go find out who that was because I don't recognize her.
Yeah.
So
we had
I
a
went over.
Come in and yell at me.
Pretty much something. But I go over and find her. She's just sitting on the chair in the break room. And I'm just like, hey, we're just curious. Are you in one of the training classes or are you on the area? Because we just didn't recognize you. And she's like, I don't have to give you that information. I was like, I mean, you kind of do.
Think you just did.
I was like, we need to know like where you are and kind of can I get your name? And she's like, I don't have to give you that either. You should already know my name. I was like, nah, not necessarily. I mean, we got 300 people in this building, and they come and go pretty quick. I know the people that have Stade's name. You're a trainee. I definitely don't know your name.
Yeah,
but I was just like, I don't know. I am trying to get your name, so I would know it if you want to give it to me. And
I'd love to know your name,
I was trying to talk to her. I was trying to, make it so I wouldn't escalate the situation and give her a chance. Because I'm just like, come on, I don't know what's happening, but you're being difficult. So I was about to call, and I was like, before I press this button, I'm gonna just give you one chance to de-escalate this situation. She was telling me that my job wasn't to do any of that, and I was telling her, well, my boss told me to figure out who you are, so technically this is the only job I got.
Yeah.
At this point forward, like, this is my only job. So yeah, she was being very stubborn.
Also, to clarify, when you said call, were you trying to say the police?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Well, cut out. That's her name. Yeah.
I was like, is that a person or the police?
Yeah, that was her name. Right. I've just told this story so many times to friggin' everybody around, and they all know her. Like, the front.
So you did actually say that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you were trying to save the podcast. No, I was like, just cut out the name.
You were just Asianing me.
Or do something to like put.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't know, but I was trying to call the director and tell her, hey, because I wanted to let her know this is what's happening before I take her over. because I need to let her know what I'm doing
before you fire and carry her over.
Yeah, I can't fire her, so I gotta let her know, hey, this is this is the deal. I'm gonna escort her out, and you can deal with it however you deal. But the HR lady comes right around the corner. I was like, well, actually, it's too late. You can't even save your graces now.
Mm-hmm.
HR lady comes over and is like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, I was doing fine until y'all came over here, and now he's hassling me. I'm like, well, I'm not going to let you go anywhere if I don't know who you are, because at this point, I don't even know if you belong in the building, to be fairly honest with you. You could have honestly walked right in. If nobody recognizes you, how?
So does nobody have badges?
No, they do. Well, obviously, she worked there, but that's how she was able to get through.
Yeah, but like actual badges that have like your face and name on it.
No, so I suggested that to my company, and they said it was a great idea, but none of them have moved forward in making a system for that. So
interesting. Right
now, I'm doing a backwards way of having them sit in front of the camera, take their picture, and then putting it into their profile.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best I could do.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, that's very frustrating. She was just telling us we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't escort her out, and we're like, yeah, we can. And then we proceeded to escort her out, and then she sat in the lobby, and then we called the police, obviously. And we're like, well, I mean,
it got to this lady.
Point. Yeah,
didn't she work there?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the thing is at that point we didn't know for sure still, because she just outright refused to give us any information whatsoever. She said that we should just have it in our databases and that's it. I was like, okay, but we don't. You
have to have information to look it up in the database.
Yeah.
Like, you give me your name, I can't look that up.
But yeah, so when the police came over, he was like, yeah, so here's the deal. They said that you have to leave, so you're going to have to leave. And she's like, no, I don't have to leave. You can't make me leave. We were like, okay. And he was like, all right, so
he's reaching for his
gun. The thing is, again,
yes, I can.
they said that you have to leave, and this is their property. So since that's the case, I'm not going to say anything more to you. I can talk to you as much as you want outside and answer any questions, but as of right now, all we're going to do is walk out. And she just got up and went. I was like, okay, so yeah, escort, bye. But yeah, so that was just the annoying one. But she wasn't the detained or anything like that from my end. That was just, she was just freaking annoying. But well, somebody else was having a seizure, so she was getting escorted out while the ambulance was going through the other door and picking the seizure patient up.
She was just laying on the floor. Nobody was helping her because they were dealing with this.
Yeah. So that was the most frustrating one. Like, what the heck? Yeah, like, all she had to do was just say, hey, yeah, my name is blah, blah. I'm in this class. Sorry, I was just trying to help. Something of the name. Something. I don't know. Yeah. But maybe she already knew that she was but from what I gather, that wasn't her first time acting like that either. So
yeah.
Everybody said that she was a little off, but I don't know. I was like, okay. Great.
Nice.
None of my bones.
So she's gotten promoted since then, I imagine.
Yeah, promoted to customer,
wasn't it?
Who was the other security guard?
It's a secret shopper.
Yeah.
Nick, you're fired.
I guess so.
No, that's stupid.
Yeah, so there was that. Another, and this is a short story, so I'll just tell this one next. Essentially, I didn't know what was going on because there was no indication that they were having a rough relationship, and I actually just talked to this girl.
Well, there you go.
No.
I actually just gotten off the phone with her.
There was one day where she was waiting, I guess, for her car for her boyfriend or whatever, and she had ramen. I was like, "You're eating ramen? You ain't got anything cooking or anything like that?" She's like, "I actually love ramen and whatnot." I was like, "Oh, really? Well, I mean, I wouldn't get the ramen here though, because those little cups of ramen are $3 or $4. Yeah, they're like $3 or $4, and I'm like, those cups of ramen are at max like 70-80 cents.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
At the store. I mean, just drive over there and get those cups if you really love them.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I was just talking and stuff, and she seemed fine. But apparently on this particular day, she was driving to work with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend, I guess, wanted to take the car away. I don't really know what the plan was to begin with, because if she was going to get an Uber from her place, I don't know. But it ended with him trying to get in the car on the driver's side, and she was like, "No, this is my car," blah blah blah. And he apparently pulls her out, gets in the car, and whips it around.
GTA style.
We have a roundabout, so so as he's pulling in, he almost pretty much whips out and hits her with her own dang car after he GTA'd her. Yeah.
Is this all on video?
No.
I bet you somebody recorded it.
Well, maybe. So there's probably.
You were outside for this?
No, I wasn't outside. That's how I didn't really notice it, because they usually go in on the other side of the car and do whatever they do. Boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever.
So how do you know what happened?
Because apparently somebody that was outside, she likes to smoke, so she goes outside and smokes. She went inside. She was like, call the police. I can't believe that happened. I was like, what's going on? And she described it all, and I was like, what the heck? And because from my point of view, he drives off and she's already on her feet. So I mean, I was like, I thought that they were just doing their thing, and I'm not like looking directly outside, because I mean, it's just like, I'm looking at cameras.
Yeah,
but
should have some outdoor cameras.
Yeah. Well, we do have one of those cameras, but so we have so many cameras that it takes up 2 pages. But I also have to have the messenger page, and I only have 2 screens. Yeah. So I have a messenger page just in case they have to message me and say, hey, come here, or we need this, or can you do this for us? Something
was it on recording? What happened?
So the thing is the camera that it's on, it's one of the older cameras that we have, and the the light distortion kind of makes it like
a blob.
Yeah, like a light blob.
Yeah.
So you can't really see too much. You can see outlines, but all you see is the car going, and she's already on her feet.
Interesting. So nothing very helpful.
Yeah, nothing. But that's the thing is, like, when I was calling the police, she told me don't call the police, and that she was calling the police. So of course, if she's not going to do anything, I have to, I can't do anything on her behalf necessarily. Yeah. So I don't think she called the police.
Nobody's seen her since.
No, I mean, she's still there. She seems fine. But I definitely can tell that her boyfriend's still there. So I have to, because I know her schedule, whenever I see her come out or like come driving through, I have to just stand outside and make sure that doesn't happen again.
That's pretty good idea.
It's redonkulous. I'm like, holy crap.
All right, we have to start over.
Yeah.
God.
So no, that's a crazy story. And then now we get to the detainees. So apparently there was one girl.
You detained the lady that was almost hit. So I put her in cuffs.
She looked close. No, it's good. There's one girl that apparently had COVID and came in and didn't tell anybody. So there, of course, there's going to be a couple people mad, and one of them was pregnant with a baby. So she
she was pregnant with a baby.
What else was in there,
to top it all off, it was with a baby.
Well, I just want to let you guys know it wasn't a dinosaur.
It was the way you emphasized it that was good. She was pregnant with a baby.
With a baby. Well, I mean, it could have been a food baby.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
What? All right. Go ahead.
But
so she was pregnant and was also having a baby. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, so she threatened to kill her and her baby. And
I feel like we missed some steps, but all right.
Well, I was given the gist of it.
That's fine.
I mean, you can go through the video. You hear a lot of yelling back and forth.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, they were arguing about it, and of course, she's like, "I don't got it. I don't got it anymore. I got this paper. It's whatever." And she was like, "Well, you came in on Sunday," and she's like, "Well, I got it Friday, and you got 24 hours when you don't have a fever. I never had a fever." And she's like, "That don't matter." So I mean, there's just a lot of back and forth. Okay, so to shorten that, long story short. Yeah. So of course they met, and then once she was threatening to, kill her and the baby, it's on, so they start trying to go at it. So I get in there. I'm like, oh, hold on now. So I beat it up, take a couple of hits myself. Luckily, didn't get any bruises. Yeah. And then I had to essentially take her down and just keep her restrained until we got somebody to call the police.
The pregnant one?
No, not the pregnant one. The one that was threatening to kill her, because she was the one that was being more violent. Yeah, the other one was pretty much just
pregnant.
She was trying to give him the signal. So
yeah.
So
did you tell the baby to stop resisting?
It was kicking for her. Yeah. Imagine that though. You're fighting a pregnant woman, and then all of a sudden you just get kicked in the stomach really hard. Like, oh, what the heck? Baby was fighting for her life. Yeah. But yeah. So she goes down. And we wait, and I essentially just take her into the front office, wait for the cops to get her, and then they do the actual arresting and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
did you press charges? Oh,
I'm sure. I don't know entirely.
Well, for the COVID thing, not the attack, because that's obviously the bigger issue.
I'll have to ask them about that. If that I didn't get involved after that. The other one, I mean, she of course had to go out, but she came out peacefully, so we didn't have to do anything with her. But you also still can't be the one punching people. I mean, self-defense, obviously, she's probably going to get a lot of leniency, but we still got to evaluate that.
Yeah, Nick's had a lot of good stories about why it's awesome to live there.
Oh yeah.
What kind of time span was this?
Within the week. Last week. Not this week. This week's been pretty tame.
It's only Tuesday.
It's been pretty tame. It feels like Friday, to be fairly honest. It feels like a Thursday or something.
Thursday.
Yeah. It feels like Thursday. Yeah, so I think it was not too long after. Yeah, not too long after our COs and stuff are still here, by the way. There's two guys that apparently got into altercations. With the same, working with the same coworker that they both like. Has its perks and doesn't have its perks. So they were fighting. So I broke that up and also took another couple licks. And hey, still looking good.
Yeah.
So
I think your eyes swollen shut though.
Both of them.
Oh. But yeah, so had to essentially drag them out one by one because they were both going out kicking and screaming. So one, of course, I went in there. Then somebody else came in, held the other guy back while I brought the other guy to the front desk. Then I went back there. The other guy was like, "Don't touch me. You can't do this. You can't take me out." Blah, blah. So the whole time I'm just like, well, I mean, I got to. So I had him like this up there. And he's just like, I'm like, I mean, dude, you're a good 6 inches shorter than me. It's not going to work.
Release me.
But
did you bring your kendo stick?
We put, dude,
come in handy.
Dylan, did you say the same thing? He said the same exact thing.
Yeah, he went running in with his gi on.
Oh yeah, full armor and everything.
Yeah. He had his hair tied back.
My eyes were extra squinty that day.
Your view was narrowed. Okay.
But yeah, I put him in the HR office until the other guy was questioned and taken by the officer, and then the other guy was then taken out and questioned and yada yada. So yeah, that was the short end of that stick.
That was all before you were threatened with a gun, right?
Yeah. So
do you work security at Bojangles?
Close.
So this one wasn't at work. This one was outside, about 15 minutes away from my house. On the way back to my house.
A stroll.
Yeah. So, so I was walking back home, and this car, was. I don't know. I you would think it's pretty safe because it's around the. I wouldn't say a preppy, but
I've been there. It's not safe.
So the thing is I haven't had this done in a long time. So I thought that I was past this point. But essentially I was walking home and this car essentially slowed down and they're like, "Hey," and they brandished off a weapon like, "F you," and then they sped off, and I was like, okay. And so I just kept walking because I was like, at this point I'm either done or not. I mean, there's nothing I can do, so whatever. So I just keep walking, and then they just keep going their way. I was like, all right, well, whatever. But yeah, that was definitely an interesting interaction. I wasn't expecting.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that'll make you not want to walk home.
I don't think it really affected
me. I mean, no, did I? Oh, I didn't tell you, Danny. Did I tell you, Dylan, about the homeless guy that asked me for directions, and when I couldn't figure out what he was talking about because I don't know where the homeless shelter is, and I don't know which bridge he's talking about since there's like 4 or 5. Yeah, he was pissed off because I couldn't give him directions to a homeless. I was like, and I wasn't gonna pull out my phone.
Bad idea.
Like that's rule number 1. I'm making it look like I got the least. I just got this water bottle. That's all I got, and I got these gym clothes on because I was running home. Like, what else do you want from me?
Yeah. So Nick has a fun time being in the city.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this yellow building that has 0 windows. A few security guards that I see them coming in and out of with the same security shirts that I have. And it has an open sign. Like it says a sign that has a flashy open, but there's no windows. It's barred up. You don't know what's inside. No advertisement. Doesn't have a name. I'm like, what the hell's in there?
You sounds like you could go in.
I don't wanna.
Leave all your stuff outside with the homeless guy.
I mean, maybe if I have my security shirt on, I'll blend in.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm new here.
Yeah, no, Eddie is, dude. It's my shift. Yeah, Nick has a.
I need to get tattoos.
No,
that really fit in.
No, yeah, he tells me the stories, and I'm like, I get why you're hesitant to move back here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to leave either.
Yeah.
Seems like a decent place. Fantastic job.
You gotta have thrills in your life.
Definitely. It's very thrilling.
And I mean, it's all about the Benjamins. So
yeah, good money, good times, great people.
Nothing but fat sacks over here.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's definitely the kind of thrill you want.
Oh, yeah.
I had a crazy thrill the other day.
Mm-hmm.
My wife brought home plums, and I was eating it, and I was like, oh, "This doesn't taste like a plum." And she was like, "It's a plum sour." It was a plum cot. That's the kind of shenanigans we have over
before,
here.
Right?
Holy hell! Whoa!
That was the crazy part of my week last week.
Now that I can get behind.
I feel like I distinctly remember us buying plum cots because we didn't know what they were.
Honestly, that's distinctly why I don't move over there. I mean,
because of plum cots.
Plums that taste like what cots?
Yeah, ruined my whole week.
Apricots.
Yeah,
yeah. They're weird. Yes, it gets pretty stressful over here. You're better off staying over there. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
I know it sounds nice, but it's really not. It's not all.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah. Not all sunshines and rainbows over here. We got weird plums.
But hopefully through osmosis, that good stuff will get over here.
You just gotta osmosize over here. You gotta flow through the osmosis.
You still osmosising.
Still picked it up.
Just flowing through
it. We'll get it.
Well, that's a great week for Nick. I hope
that's rough.
I hope your week was a little bit better. It sounds like it since.
Oh, and I got a new roommate.
Oh yeah,
somebody lives in there now.
Yep. I got a 1 day notice.
I mean, what are you gonna do about it?
Have you met the person?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. I mean, so was Nick. So, yeah.
So what about you guys?
Who's the person that lives with you?
One of his neighbors that just.
Oh yeah.
Are you just finding that out?
No,
What's
I just don't know how much I
got you. All right, I'm with you.
All right. The funny thing is, if I didn't,
what?
I don't know.
If I didn't have a roommate, I could say as much as I want.
Oh, yeah. You didn't. Yeah.
No, I get it.
I want.
Yeah.
But here, let me tell you what bro.
Just text me.
So
I already forgot.
He's my neighbor.
No, he's your roommate.
Yeah, he's your extra neighbor now.
Well, he's my. He was my neighbor. I asked him. I was like, "They're not kicking you out of your apartment, are they?" He said, "No, my roommate just moved to Charlotte." So that's all he said. I was like, and he's never given any indication that he's moved in here other than he just didn't want to live by himself. I talked to my friend who has a friend that lives here, and he says he still doesn't have a roommate. And he's lived there for 2 years. Bro.
The best part of that whole thing was you were talking to somebody imaginary.
Who were you talking to the whole time?
You guys.
That was good. All right. Yeah, but yeah, it's his neighbor and he didn't have a roommate. So
I like the way he told it first.
Yeah, I was better and it made more sense. But it sounds like he essentially asked to move in with Nick.
He's going to rob you. He's going to take your kendo stick.
Well, because it had come up before, and it had come up like a couple months ago that he might move in, and then he didn't. And I guess now he's in a month. Yeah.
Oh, so. You've talked to him before?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I'm not saying. I can't.
Jeez, man.
I have to put extra character in.
It's like Sebastian.
Since I can't be audible, I have to be visual.
Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
He's sleeping. Yeah, no, he knew him prior, and then the apartment complex let him know that he might be moving in with him. Like,
right.
Hey Nick, this might be your new roommate, and then nothing ever happened from it. And then based on these circumstances, it sounds like he reached out to them and was like, "Hey, my roommate's moving out. Can I please move in with Nick?" It's kind of what it sounds like.
That stinks.
It's strange. Yeah, it's weird. Because he would have it sounded like he had the place to himself. So
some people don't feel safe alone in that neighborhood.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, to be fairly honest, I can say that he would fit that bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why he's like, this guy's a security guard with a kendo stick. Maybe I'll just move.
This guy's a go-getter.
Honestly, like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but yeah, my apartment looks like if you go in there and you just see what I got lying around, you'd be like, maybe I shouldn't like go into this place.
This guy's gonna beat me in my sleep.
It's not gonna be worth it. I'm not gonna get enough out of this.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's had an eventful week. How's your week been besides the Plumcots? Anything exciting or frustrating, Danny?
Me?
Yeah. Nothing.
No, I don't think I could top any of that. I'm all set. I'm on vacation.
When are you going to get a pool and invite me to a barbecue?
What's the pool have to do with a barbecue?
Barbecue's an event.
Pools are barbecue. Your backyard is perfect.
Yeah, he wants to come eat at your house and swim. That's this point.
I don't know. You just have the perfect.
Let me get 100,000
family
for
house
a pool.
No, I mean, Walmart.
You could bring that over.
$200 pool. You top it up. Five. You could have the white stuff on your nose.
No.
That comes with the inflatable pool.
A hot tub would be sick, though.
Yeah.
For like the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Those couple
that
weeks.
Would be perfect.
That'd be good.
Heck yeah.
I'll come over.
Aren't those expensive?
I mean, probably not as expensive as a pool, but yeah.
No, not even close. Hot tub just gets delivered. A pool has to be built.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
I'm sure it's expensive. I think there's more options
hot
now,
tub would
but
be
it's
better.
It's probably still expensive.
Hot tub would be cool.
Yeah. You do that. You could do it inside too.
Right.
I just feel like
you
could have like the perfect cave. Like if you had the patio and just had like a nice little shanty TV, nice outside bar. What
is a shanty TV?
So it's not like
TV
it's not the state-of-the-art TV you'd have in your living room or in your bedroom. It's one that you would have. It's maybe like a 27 or
like okay, so like a cheaper throwaway TV,
like something you'd see at a bar. At the side of their tables instead of on the main.
All right, I got you.
I got a vision. This guy. He's got a house. He's got a bourbon room. He's almost got it all. I could see.
So you want him to have the bourbon room outside?
No, well,
with the shanty TV.
Get rid of your good ones. You can only have the shanty one.
I mean, weather damage isn't worth it. Want to get a state of the art for weather damage?
Yeah, that's true. Get a waterproof one.
I ordered one of those big gazebos.
Getting a waterproof shanty TV is more expensive than just getting the
Do me a favor, Google
a regular
shanty TV and tell me what comes up. Please.
It's gonna be Did You Mean
trademark
TV.
I'm trying to come out with a new TV. All right, I'm gonna build a TV called it Shanties. It's gonna be the perfect TV for outside.
Yeah,
weather resistant.
It's going to be a TV that sings sea shanties.
It's going to be made of the glass that you can throw chairs at. No way, weather.
The best kind of TV is stuff I can throw things at.
Yeah. For sticks.
What I look for. It's one of the specs.
Birds.
1080p.
Maybe you're watching the Weather Channel and
it can take 4 chairs.
The Nature Channel.
Yeah. For when your dogs attack it watching it. His backyard is nice. A outdoor bar would be cool if you didn't have the bugs. A hot tub would probably work because the steam would probably keep them at least away from your face while you're in it.
I don't think so.
Would it?
I mean, we wouldn't use it in the summer.
You'd have boiled food.
That's true. Yeah, it wouldn't be any need for it. You could put and if you wanted to, you could just put like a net around it while you're in it. That's pretty cool. Just drape a net over it like a tent.
What is it? Those trampoline net type things? Just
basically. Put like an African
zip
tent
up
over
and
it.
zip in, zip out.
Yeah.
That actually might be a solid idea. Actually,
so we'll get that all done.
Yeah.
Get you an outside bar, a hot tub, and a shanty.
TV.
No, just the shanty. We can work on the TV after.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So Danny's off this week. He's taking advantage of his employer and he's taking the week off.
Oh.
Other way around this time, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fair. He thinks he could just not work for a week.
Well, it's tough to take a week off because I just want to do nothing. You know, if I'm not traveling or going somewhere, I just want to do nothing. And that's not possible when you stay home. It's just not. So like there's so much to do when you're at home.
I disagree.
That there's no like sitting still.
Maybe if you own a house.
Yeah. Well, like today, it's just a lot of work to go into making your home livable.
Not if you don't.
Yeah, unless you don't.
Yeah, that's generally
and
fine.
I like hate doing. There are things that I don't do while I'm working. Like there are errands I have to run. I was just talking about that earlier. I hate running errands. I just can't do it. I have to go to the post office to drop off. I have to send something certified mail, and I've had it in my car for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and there's an expiration on it. If they don't get it within 30 days, I don't get my money back.
Yeah.
And I can't bring myself to just go to the post office.
I have to combine it with other stuff. Like
I can't do that. I have so many things I have to drop. I have 2 Amazon drop-offs and a certified mail that has to go to the post office. So 3 different places, and I can't go to one of them.
You can bring it all to one place.
No. One has to go to Staples. The other one has to go to UPS. And the other one has to go certified mail by USPS.
Yeah. Why is it certified mail?
I have no idea.
It's weird. Mm-hmm. I mean, still, you can do like one of the places that does all of the carriers. The Staples one, I mean, it sounds like you already selected it, so you have to go to Staples.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the places that's all they do is they have each carrier come to their place of business.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It's less work.
It's a lot of work to find it out. But regardless, if I found that place, I wouldn't go there either. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's less trips, but yeah, you still have to go do it. But I would pair it with like, I'm going to go get lunch. I'm going to get myself some food. So I'll go do that and get food.
Well, I did that today and I went directly home.
Then why don't we do it before we get food?
Because I have stuff I have to do.
Yeah, that is the stuff you have to do.
No, tomorrow I'm going to go into mow Dad's front lawn.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go mow his lawn.
That's probably like 3 hours before.
I'm going to shower. And then I'm going to go to lunch. And I'll probably go right home after that. And like do something around here that needs to be done. Nick.
That's lame.
Yes.
You have something to say?
No.
You sure?
I
You
can't see.
Your hand.
I was trying to unmute my mic and I accidentally hit the raise the hand button.
I'm not sure you ever muted your mic.
I did.
Your video was moving up and down.
I know, because I raised my hand trying to unmute it.
I got you. Okay. He has something really important he needs to say.
It's getting real hot in here, so I was turning on the AC and I didn't want to,
Yeah, I got you. Wanted to let it run for a sec. Yeah, I got you. All right. But yeah, so I've this kid put him back in his cage.
That's his roommate.
Hello. He's lying to you.
Nobody moved in. You all right, Nick?
Open your eyes if you're in trouble.
I'm making it through.
Brink twice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little less subtle if you did do that.
What's going on with you? What's new?
I had the whole car debacle.
Yeah, the car interview combo.
Yeah, well, that was the end part of it. That's funny. I was talking to Alan. Alan said he had a headache. That's why he couldn't join.
Alan has a headache.
No. So, what were you guys doing earlier that you both have headaches? Anyways, sure. So I had to take. I was taking Jazz's car to the Nissan dealership to get an oil change, and that's a whole, separate story where they try to screw you with that because they have a whole maintenance plan that you have to follow.
You should have a headache too.
Yeah, I did. in order to maintain their warranty on a bunch of the mechanical stuff, you have to get regular maintenance done, and it's all maintenance they deem as necessary, which it's not. So if you take it in for anything, they're like, hey, all this stuff has to be done in order for you to keep your warranty. So I took it in for an oil change, and the last time I did that, they were like, that'll be $3,000 for your oil change. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna need some more information, ma'am. And that's what she let me know about that whole plan that you have to do all this stuff. I was like, but what if it doesn't have to be replaced? She's like, it doesn't matter. We have to replace all of this stuff. So that was the last time. So this time I brought in, I was like, I'm expecting a lot more to happen than just the oil change, because that's just not how it's going to go. So I took it in, and he didn't say anything had to be done except just like a tire rotation, which I was like, whatever. So it takes them like 2.5 hours.
That's how it starts.
Well, yeah, that too. But it takes them like 2.5 hours to do the oil change, which is ridiculous in itself. And at that point, like 2.5 hours in, he's like, yeah, we did the oil change. We did our inspection, and you need your struts replaced. So I was like, all right. So I'm on the phone with the guy in the waiting room. Like, I'm in the waiting room. He's in the shop. He's like, I was like, okay, how much is that going to cost? He's like, probably around like $1,800. I was like, oh, all right. I don't know if I want to do that. I was like, can I get like an actual estimate rather than you just guessing? Like, can I get like a written estimate? He's like, sure. I mean,
well, it was 1,800 until I decided,
Yeah, I was like, I need that in writing, sir, because they were also hacked, so none of their electronical systems were working, like their like quoting system and all that. So he was like, yeah, let me find a pen and a paper and I'll write it down. I was like, okay. So I hear him start shuffling through stuff, and then the call hangs up, and I'm like, all right, well, that's interesting. So before I had talked to him on the phone, he's also sending text, because their texting system is working. So I responded to their text saying, hey, you need struts. And I was like, cool, just go ahead and do it. I know we lost our call, but just go ahead and do it. And, I'll figure out the payment after the fact. And I didn't get a reply, but everything was working technologically wise. I misused that, but I don't feel like going back to it. The texting system seemed to be working fine, which it was. I confirmed with them after. So I was like, whatever, just go ahead and do it. And
the struts?
Yeah. So I was like, just go ahead and do it. Because the guy on the phone was like, I have the people, I have the parts. He's like, I'm just waiting for your go ahead to do it. I was like, based on all the information I had, it's like, it does sound like it needs to probably be replaced. So like, whatever, just do it. I don't feel like dealing with it later. I'm already here. I've waited several hours. Just go ahead and do it. So I texted him that, and I didn't hear anything for a while. What I did hear was in the shop, there was a lot of yelling going on. And it was some customer who was very frustrated. He was mildly frustrated with everybody. There was a lot of, I'm going to sue you guys. This is bull crap. This is ridiculous. And like, he was apparently throwing threats around. I didn't hear what they were, but the guy who was working with me came out and was talking to a different customer, and he was like, yeah, that guy's in there's crazy. He's throwing threats around and like being really obnoxious. And he was like, so, I told that guy I get off at 6. So, meet me outside. I was like, that's not, I don't think that's what you're supposed to do, sir. So everybody just kind of looked at him when he's told to all of the customers that, which is a separate issue. And he left and, was doing his own thing, and other managers got involved because they had to still deal with that customer. And obviously they weren't going to let him do that after he told him he'd fight him. So,
loser.
Yeah. So that all happened. And keep in mind, this whole coming out and like standing in front of me talking to everybody, that was after we lost our phone call, and I texted him saying, go ahead and do the struts. So I'm like, there's no way he would come out and do that had he not like gotten, like, something had to have happened. He wouldn't just end the phone call and be like, all right, moving on. So, so all in all, after that phone call that hung up, that I then texted them, it was probably like another 2 hours after that, 2.5 hours, that I was like, let me look up how long it takes to replace struts. And it was like, can take like 3 hours. So I was like, all right, that's not crazy that they're still working on it. So let me just go look in the shop and just make sure it's being worked on. Because what if it's done and I'm just sitting here? Because the guy had been bouncing around. So I went and looked in the shop, couldn't find it. I was like, that's interesting. So like I went and looked around, I couldn't really find it. I eventually found it just like sitting in the parking lot in like a random spot. It wasn't even a parking spot. It was just like against the curb. Like, that's interesting. So I went looking for the guy who I was working with, and he was not to be found. And some other guy saw me, like, obviously spelunking. Yeah. So he was like, "Can I help you with something, sir?" I was like, "Yeah." The guy who was supposed to be helping with my car is just sitting there, and based on what I read online, it should be still getting worked on. So I'm more inclined to think that it was never worked on. He was like, "Interesting." So let me go.
Oh, jeez.
Again, because there's no electronic system because they were hacked. He was like, "Let me go see if I could find your paperwork," because it was all handwritten. And so he went looking, couldn't find any of my stuff, couldn't find the keys or paperwork, any of it. It's like, we're just gonna have to wait for that guy to come back. He's like, he's in the manager's office. Yeah, so it's glass, so you could see him. I just didn't know he was in there. He's like, so when he comes out, I'll ask him what's going on with it. So like I waited another like 25 minutes because he was still sitting in the manager's office, and I had a feeling what it was about. It was very coincidental. He threatened a customer and then was in the manager's office for a long period of time. So he came out eventually and like walked past everybody with all of his stuff and walked right out the door.
Like, nice.
I was like, all right, that's not a good sign. So I went back into the shop. I was like, hey, so that guy we're waiting for,
perfect.
He's no longer with you.
Yeah.
Give me my keys.
If he had the keys in his pocket.
I was going to say, that would have been great if he got in Jazzy's car and left.
Problem solved.
Yeah,
car insurance.
Like, that guy that we were waiting for he's out, but he's also out of the building. He's leaving. He's like, oh, all right. Well, he's like, let's keep looking for your stuff. So he eventually found it, and it was like, oh, okay. So this is all your stuff. Sorry for all of this stuff going on. It's like, yeah, I don't think that guy's coming back. He's like, yeah, he's not. I don't know if that meant for the day or permanently or whatever, but it wasn't 6 like he said it was going to be. So he was leaving early. So they're like, all right, cool. Let's just get you out of here. So they pull up on my paper. He's like, all right, that'll be $1,800. It's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He's like, it says here you got your struts replaced and your oil changed and tires rotated. I was like, maybe the last 2 things, but not the first one. I was like, I don't think the struts were changed. He was like, why? I was like, because my car's been sitting there for, at least I know, for an hour, and that's not enough time for struts to be replaced. So I'm fairly sure. It's like, I'm like 95% sure that it wasn't done. He's like, interesting. And the mechanic who was listed on the paperwork just happened to be there in the shop, like right next to us. He was like, hey man, did you work on that Nissan over there? He was like, today? He was like, that car today? He was like, yeah, that car today. He was like, no, why would I do that? He was like, because it says here that you were going to replace the struts. And he's like, oh no, I recommended they be done. I never heard anything back. That car's just been sitting there. And I was like, yeah, that's about what I figured. I was like, I think that guy was caught up in deciding who he wanted to fight that day. So he just was not doing his job today. So I've just been hanging out. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I was like,
I would have been like,
yeah, but most people would have paid $1,800, thought they got new struts and left.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I would have been like, before that total there, you should also write down, had to wait an hour because you guys wanted to just chill out and not find my stuff.
Yeah, so it was I don't know. I think it was a bad storm, like perfect storm of stuff, because their like system was down, so they couldn't like actually track anything. It was kind of just their best effort. So the person who's helped me had no way of verifying that anything was actually done. He just had a piece of paper that said it was gonna be done. So, and that's all he could go off of. So I don't know what would have happened if the system wasn't down, but either way, I was really pissed off. So I was like, I just want to go, sir. I I was like, I've been here. I got there. I left my house at 11 a.m. and I was leaving at this point where I was trying to leave was, I think, like 4:45 or 5. I was like, I just want to go, sir. I got my oil change 6 hours ago. I want to go. He's like, all right. He's like, it'll be $80. My mind. for your tire rotation, basically.
Like, you're gonna make me pay for that?
Yeah.
No. Can I have my keys?
Well, especially for that small amount of money, I was like, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. I was like, I just want to go.
He didn't say you're one of these for making me pay $80 for tire rotation for 6 hours. Actually,
I think the only thing they charged me for was the I got inspected too. So like it was the state charges.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything they could have done about that.
That they can't do. Yeah.
Yeah. So and even if there was a little bit on top of that, I wasn't worth the, maybe $50 I could have saved if that. I was like, get me out of here. I'm
just saying I would have just said something.
I thought about it. I don't know what it would have gotten me, but I was kind of over the whole process.
So you guys are some losers. Just wanted to let you know.
Well,
maybe some
he's going home and go, this guy called me a loser today. It's gonna ruin his whole day.
We can get you a new friend.
But as somebody checking somebody out, making somebody pay that sat here for 6 hours for an oil change and tire rotation.
He can't,
Yes,
he's not going to offer me money. They don't do that.
It's not money. It's just customer service.
Yeah, I don't think their dealerships are really work like that. They're not a for the customer kind of company.
They're trash. That's why you say you're a loser. And you go home and cry.
If he did that, he probably would have gotten fired had he offered me anything.
That's fine.
But yeah, I was like, I just want to go, sir. I was like, I know it's not your fault specifically, but I'm just really pissed off. So I just want to go. He's like, all right, well, here's our card of like the actual manager. If you want to actually, he's like, we'll make sure it actually gets done next time. I was like, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Yeah. No, thank you.
So following that, I got a appointment at just the mechanic that I normally take the car to, next door. And, this was like the next week. And I was like, I called him, I was like, can I get an appointment? I might need my struts replaced. Based on the information I have and the sounds it was making, it sounds like it might need to be. He's like, all right, well, we're not going to schedule an appointment for you to get it replaced. We're just going to schedule, well, let's start with getting it looked at. I'm not going to take your money unless it needs to get actually replaced. So, I was like, all right, let's do that. So I scheduled that. And in between all this, her key started getting a little sticky in the ignition. So like sometimes sticky. It's so sticky. So sometimes in the ignition, it just wouldn't turn. It would just hit like a wall. So I would just like fiddle with it for a second. It would actually turn. I was like, that's not good because that's only going to get worse. And we're going out of town this upcoming weekend. And I was like, I'm not trying to get stuck in a different town.
Especially if you're going to Nick's town.
Well, that's true. I might not make it back.
Walking. I don't know. It sounds like some of the people I work with leaked over there, and so
well, let's put it this way: I never
felt working at your tire places.
I never felt like I was in any physical danger, so it's a little bit of an improvement. I was in emotional danger.
Fair point, though.
Well, he was trying to fight somebody else, not you.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, that guy was in physical danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Her key was also sticking. I was like, I won't bother the mechanic with that because hopefully it's just the key because that's going to be a lot cheaper to deal with. So I was like, after I take it to get looked at, I'll take it to a locksmith and have them look at the key and make sure and just let me know what's up. So I took it to the mechanic and he checked the struts. He was like, absolutely not. Have a nice day, sir. I was there for like 2.5 minutes. He came out and turned the wheel.
About right.
And he was like, yeah, it makes noise, but every car's going to do that. I was like, oh, all right. He's like, yeah, that's go. Just leave, please. I was like, all right. So I just left. He was like, there's no charge for any of that. He was like, you have absolutely no reason to be here. He's like, cool. Thank you guys. Have a nice day. So I drove right to the locksmith and he put the key in the ignition, was turning off. It. Yeah. I didn't make it to the locksmith. So the locksmith started messing with it and he's like, yeah, that's not the key. That's the ignition. I was like, oh, that sucks. He's like, yeah, you're going to want to deal with that like ASAP. I was like, yeah, that's what I figured. I want to get that fixed because that's going to get worse, right? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, it will. So I was like, cool. So I immediately called the mechanic back. Like, hey, man, I was just there like 10 minutes ago. He's like, oh, the guy with the struts.
Remember me?
Yeah. It was like the guy with the non-bad struts. I was like, yeah. I was like, I have the Nissan. And he was like, oh, let me get the Nissan guy. So he went and got the Nissan guy. He's like, yeah, so I explained it to him. He was like, yeah, so if the actual ignition cylinder needs to be replaced, he's like, I can't do that. He was like, Nissan. He's like, I could do that on every other car but a Nissan. That is going to have to, they're going to replace the entire steering column.
And the hubcaps.
Yeah, and the hubcaps. He's like, and I can't even order that part. Like, that's not something usually you're going to have to take it to a dealership. I'm like, awesome. So I have to take it back to the place I just trying my best not to deal with. So took it back to the dealership, the same one. Didn't see the guy there, which is of note, I guess. I don't know if he's actually fired or not. It took them again like 2 hours, and I get a message says, hey, we sprayed lube in it and it seems okay. It's still sticking, but it's it's a problem you should deal with, but it's not awful, so you don't have to deal with it today if you don't want to. Like, okay. Right. So I went and talked to him. He was like, yeah, he's like, it works like 95% of the time, but that means it's going to get worse. So it's something you should deal with as soon as you're able to. I was like, all right, how much would that run me? He was like, about $1,200. I was like, I don't want to. So he was like, we can't do that today though. I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, we'd have to order that part. We don't just have that. It's like, all right, so I'm just going to go either way. I'm not going to, leave the car here. That's not a possibility. He was like, all right, well, let me know if you want to order the part. I was like, thanks, sir. He's like, yeah, that'll be $300. It's like the $300 diagnosis fee. It's like, but you sprayed lube in it and you wanted to see if it worked.
Who is that from?
The dealership.
That was from the dealership?
Yeah. Their diagnosis fee.
I thought, for some reason, I thought this was at the locksmith still.
No. Remember, he said
$300 for them to look at it. Spray some WD-40.
Yeah. So the locksmith checked the ignition, told me to call the mechanic. I called the mechanic. He was like, that's a Nissan. You're going to have to take it to the dealership. So I took it to the dealership, and that's where I waited for a couple hours. And they're like, hey, so we got to it. We sprayed some lube in it, so probably WD-40. And it didn't really help, but it works most of the time. So you're still going to want to get it replaced. Cool. Thank you for the confirmation.
It's really expensive. Did you pay that?
Yeah, of course I had to. That's a diagnosis fee. You can't not pay.
How much was it
to get diagnosed? $300.
But that's that was like a fourth of the whole thing anyway. So just replace the dang thing if you're going to do it.
That's what I mean. How do you pay that?
Because that's their fee. That's their diagnosis fee. Like every shop has a diagnosis fee. Theirs is just way more than everybody else. That's I've paid that before. Not there. I pay it at other shops. When you don't know, when you go, hey, I have this problem, and they act as a mechanic, their inspection and diagnosis costs money, even if they don't do anything.
Yeah.
I guess because of their time. But I'm sure they have just a flat fee regardless of if they checked your tire pressure or took apart part of the engine.
Yeah.
It's fair. Still the same flat fee. So, them, turning their head and it's like, yeah, that thing's still broken.
Yeah, we're good. You're not. We're good.
This is ridiculous. So, so he was like, yeah, that needs to be replaced. So I was like, whatever. I'll think about it. Obviously planning to, as soon as I left, start calling shops and be like, hey, who can get me a quote? Who can do it? And, will not give me an insane price, because $1,200 felt like a bit much based on what I was reading. So I drove. So this is the fun part that most of you don't know about is, so I had an interview for a promotion at my job. And that was that day that I'm at the dealership having this diagnosis done. When I called and scheduled it, I was under the impression they were going to be able to diagnose and fix it that day. Because if it was just going to be a diagnosis, I probably wouldn't have brought it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the guy told me to take it to the dealership. We called them. We're like, hey, the key won't turn. He goes, oh, okay, bring it in. I was under the impression it was going to be dealt with.
Right.
Not we're going to have to order parts because that's a
you
problem.
You brought it in and they say, oh, you're right. The key doesn't work.
Yeah. You were serious about that?
I know. I called you and told you that.
Yeah. So now this is news to me. So I had an interview. So I had planned on being there all day, and I let my bosses know, like, hey, I know I have these interviews, but this is something that needs to be taken care of, like, as soon as possible. So I'm just going to do it from the dealership. And they were like, oh, that's fine. Just make sure you're in a place where we could hear each other. I was like, yeah, obviously. So I had all my stuff with me and was prepared to do that, not knowing they'd be done with the car way sooner than that, because they were just going to spray WD-40 and that was going to be it.
Right.
So my interview was at, I think like either 1 or 1:30, and it was storming, and I left the deal. I was like, now I have just enough time to get home. I'll be home like 15 minutes before my interview. So I left. It started tornadoing and I'm on 40 driving, and it slowed everybody down to barely moving. So I didn't get home until like 1 minute before the interview was supposed to start. So I pull in and I noticed all the power's off. Power went out for the entire block, or several blocks. Like all of the traffic lights were out getting to my house, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I was pulling into my driveway. I was like, uh-oh, so the garage door won't open. This is going to be a problem. And then I have Jazzy's car, so I'm like, what are the odds? She has a house key on her keychain. Obviously, she doesn't.
0.
If there's one on my keychain, but she has my car. So I'm like, this is sweet. So I just had to do the interview from in the car in my driveway. So I just was like, hey man, sitting outside my house. Pardon me for this.
This is a real bummer.
Yeah, so like this is a bummer for all of us involved. So I did the interview with the phone on the steering wheel. And luckily I had brought all my stuff with me because I had a polo that I just threw on. Because I felt like I should be a little professional.
Yeah.
Even though I was sitting in a car.
Can't go wrong.
So it went decently well, but that was only one of 3 interviews that day. So this ended at 2, and the next interview was at 3. So I had an hour break. So I was like, let me go and pick up milk for the baby because he needed milk. So I was like, I have an hour. I can't get in the house. So I was like, let me just go and do something. The only other option is just sitting here. So I pulled up to Target because we had a drive up order with all of our stuff that we needed, all of our groceries. And you can't do drive up because it's pouring. So,
is that like a Target rule?
Yeah, they're not going to send those people out to deliver stuff. So they turned it off on the app, so you can't tell them to come out.
Mm-hmm.
You can go inside and get it. So that's what I had to do. I was like, I got to go inside. We need the milk. And I have nothing else to do. So I turned off the car and went inside, got the groceries, came out, loaded up the car. Couldn't turn the key in the ignition.
Of course.
I was like, oh, sweet. So
you should have went back into Target, bought WD-40, came back out, sprayed it in there.
It was still very clearly lubed.
Yeah.
My theory is whatever they were doing in their troubleshoot, which was probably trying to see what was going on by jiggling it really hard, they probably made it worse.
Right.
You know, I can't say whether that's them being stupid or them just troubleshooting it to see what the issue is. But regardless, it made it 100 times worse. And I could now no longer turn the key. So at this point, I'm like 40 minutes to my next interview, sitting in the parking lot of Target
parking lot
with milk in the back seat. That's, it's 100 degrees out. So I called the shop that was next to us. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. It's like, I'm out of options. And while I'm on the phone, I got the car started. I just barely managed. It felt like I put it through like a needle-sized thread and just barely slipped it through whatever, wafers it had to go through, and it allowed me to turn it. So I got to start it. I was like, I'm never turning this car off again. So
it's still running right now.
Yeah, I haven't. It's still sitting outside. So I called the mechanic. I was like, hey, man, I'm not turning this car off. I was like, can I please come drop it off? I was like, I know you have to order parts. You still have to diagnose it. I was like, but I'm not taking it home because I'll have to get it towed. So I was like, can I please just come drop it off? He was like, yeah, that's fine. We'll just have to do our best to fix it.
And this is the mechanic or the dealership?
Yeah, the mechanic. I wasn't taking it back to the dealership.
I thought it was at the dealership. I thought they said they couldn't do it.
It's a different mechanic.
Oh.
Because that mechanic was clearly not comfortable based on his past experience. So I was like, I'll call a different one and, talk to people who are maybe more comfortable with doing this repair, which is, I have no problem with. I'd rather him tell me up front that he's not comfortable doing it. So this guy was like, yeah, that's fine. Well, again, we'll probably have to order the part. I'll have to call Nissan and see what they can do and all that stuff. He's like, so I can't even give you a quote until I know how much the part costs. So I was like, that's fine. So I called Dad. He met me at the mechanic and I dropped off the car. I turned it off. I was like, you're going to have to repair that thing in the parking lot because it's not going anywhere. He was like, that's fine. We'll figure it out. So Dad came and picked me up and drove me home with all of my groceries. And we pulled into my house like 5 minutes after 3, which is so I'm a couple minutes late. I had messaged my director. I was like, hey, man, I'm having a bit of a rough go here. I'm not
normally like this, to be fairly honest with you.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a car. I don't even know if I can get in my house.
My dad's driving. He drives slow.
Yeah. He might have to drive me through the garage door. So he was like, oh, that's fine. He's like, I'll give you a couple of minutes. So I got home, the power was back on. So I opened the garage and I got in and I walked in, put the milk in the fridge and sat down and just did the interview from my phone on my couch. I was like, this has been a real crappy day, sir.
I've been hanging out with Nick a little too much. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he's
lost my car, lost my electricity. I don't know what's going on here.
My bank account's empty today. So that was
that too.
That was a fun sequence of events. So that was last Friday. Got through all my interviews and it went decently well, I think. And we're leaving Thursday afternoon to go out of town. And so I told him on the phone, I was like, I'm not in any rush, but I would like to have it by Thursday because we're going to take this car out of town. He was like, all right, I'll do my best. It's nothing I can do or they can do at that point. They're at the mercy of Nissan. So he's like, I called Nissan.
Which isn't a good place.
He's like, I called Nissan. They didn't call me back. Oh, cool. So today, was it today? Yeah, today. He finally got back to me. It's like, hey man, finally talked to Nissan. There's a bunch of stuff. Well, so first he was like, there's a couple other things you need to get done. It doesn't have to be today, but just so you know, there's these other things, which I had known and I had a quote from the dealership for. I just didn't feel like addressing it at the time. So he's like, all right, so they gave me quotes on all the parts. And I was like, cool. So he gave me the quotes of everything. The lock cylinder was like $1,100, which was like
just for the part.
No, for all inclusive, the labor too.
Right.
Like, so all in all, it'll cost you like $1,100. I was like, all right, like that's $100 cheaper. So I guess that's whatever. I don't really have a choice. It's not like I can take it somewhere else.
Right.
You could have said $3,000 and I wouldn't really have a choice. He's like, this other couple things. He's like, I could also have a quote for us. Like, that's fine. Just give me the quote. And there's 2 things that need to be repaired. I knew of one of them. And the one thing that the dealership had quoted me on was $1,800. And he was like, yeah, these two things need to be done, including that one
thing. The struts?
No, not the struts. That didn't have to actually be done.
Right.
It was the tire arm it was the tire bar. I forget what it's called, tire something, and the control arms for the wheels, which it was the control arms I knew about. The dealership had told me about that. And I think my other mechanic had also noted it. They're like, doesn't have to be done today, but some point soon you should look at that. And it was going to be $1,800 from the dealership at least. So this guy was like, yeah, you need that, and you need a tire arm thing. And they showed me a picture. They're like, this is also a problem. And he was like, so for both of those things together, that'll run you another like 1,700. I was like, oh, it's way more than I want to pay, but that's both of those things together is cheaper than the one thing at the dealership.
And the one, yeah.
And I was like, so how important are those things in terms of getting it done, soon? He's like, I would never like tell you something that doesn't need to be repaired, needs to be repaired. He's like, but I also have my family out on the road, so I'm going to be completely honest with you if something needs to be fixed. So he was like, it doesn't need to be done today. If you want to recover from the lock cylinder and wait a week or two. I was like, a week or two? I'm not recovering from anything in a week or two.
Yeah. Let me get another paycheck in a week or two.
I was like, so how serious? He's like, well, the control arm, because it's like a boot. That's an issue. It's a boot on a joint.
The CV boots.
I don't know which boot. He's like, the boot, if
your hair moved when you did that.
I
saw that too.
What was that?
Tried to get away.
I was
like, so this boot is on a joint. And he's like, if that boot
or CV joint, I think it's called.
It's split. The boot is the rubber boot, which he's like, it happens. He's like, it usually happens a little bit later than it is happening right now. But either way, he's like, so if that completely breaks and comes off, he's like, there's a risk that your wheel will come off. Like, oh,
that's all.
So I was like, and that's bad, right? He was like, yeah, we wouldn't want that. So you're saying that I'm good.
You're saying there's a chance.
He's like, yeah, so I wouldn't wait. He's like, if you want to take a minute to think about it and gather the money for it, that's, you can do that. But, I wouldn't give it more than a little bit. I was like, then just go ahead and do all of it, dude. So they're going to do all of their repairs. And he let me know that all of the parts besides the lock cylinder, he can get done like basically by tomorrow, which is Wednesday. But the lock cylinder, he won't get until Thursday. So he was like, it would be Thursday, but probably Friday in order for them to actually install it. I was like, well, that sucks because I'm leaving Thursday. So we're going to have to work around that, but can't go anywhere without the lock cylinder. I kind of need to turn the key.
I mean, you could have rolled it.
Yeah. So that was the whole issue, is the many hours spent at Nissan dealing with, the guy who was trying to fight the customers, the car not actually being worked on, them spraying WD-40 on it.
That's
and
a
then
bummer.
getting stuck outside my house and then getting stuck at Target.
If you didn't speak up, you'd have paid $2,100 for WD-40 only.
Yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, so that was a debacle, at least, but I got all my interviews done. There was a chance.
Have you heard back?
No, they won't talk to me anymore.
Did it from his driveway
for this job.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah, I mean, but it was raining, so I was like, it's a little chilly in here, so I pulled off my shirt.
They said you could work remotely, not that remotely.
Can I work in somebody else's car?
Yeah.
I don't have power.
You're in Starbucks.
Dude was with his dad.
Yeah, I was like, so I don't have to do this interview in the car. Say hi, Dad.
I love you, Dad.
I was like, I have references, and then I turned the camera and any questions you'd like to ask him while I'm here. But yeah, so that was a real pain in the butt and a lot of money for all of that trouble.
Yeah,
so
that's like, a bummer.
Yeah, and I'm getting frustrated with Jazzy's car. I don't know if that's realistic or not. It's at a weird age where it's like, are these normal issues to start having, or is it just going to get worse? I'm hoping it doesn't go that route where it's like we start having more and more mechanical problems.
Yeah.
But, there's always
what
that
year
chance.
Is it?
16. Yeah.
I guess it is getting close to that 10-year age.
My car has like 10,000 more miles on it. And the only thing I've had to replace is the brakes. So I don't know really. Her side mirrors, the buttons don't work, the electrical thing. I don't know what that's about.
It's probably just a short in the wiring or something.
I think they did a initial diagnosis of it, and it was nothing that could be immediately like worked on. The guy was like, I would have to do a much heavier diagnosis, and I would have to like take a bunch of stuff apart, and that's going to cost more. I was like, just leave it. It's fine. He did like a general, like he probably took the door panel off and was trying to find a short or something. He's like, and everything was fine. So he's like, I don't know what's wrong with it. I would have to do like a take everything out and let's see what's wrong. I'm like, well, let's skip that.
You remember my Chrysler? The like gunmetal gray
200?
one? Yeah. The second one.
Oh, the first one was white?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So the sport.
Yeah.
I got to like 90. I don't think I reached 100. I think I was in the 90s, like 93,000 miles. Never changed the brakes one time. The whole time I had it.
It's probably not a good thing.
They were never bad.
Maybe.
I did like regular maintenance on it.
That's weird.
I do that with all my cars. I get like the regular, like I do the tire rotation.
WD-40 on it?
Mad WD-40. I always do tire rotations when I take them in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so do I. I do this. I do the
never did the brakes.
I
think I got like 3 batteries on that car in the 100,000, in like the 90. I think it was like 93 or 94,000 miles on it. I had like 3 different batteries. Never changed the brakes.
Jeez,
crazy.
That's strange.
Never even squeaked.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of insane brakes they had.
It was the best brakes ever.
Like NASCAR brakes?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the battery died every 30,000 miles on the dot.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mention that part. Is the first day before I took it in to get looked at for the
battery was dead.
Yeah, for the oil change, like the very first part, the first time I went to the dealership, it was I was actually supposed to get there at 10,
and you had to take it to the auto place next to your house.
Yeah, I got in the car at 9 to get there at 10, and the car wouldn't start. I was like, cool. So I had to jump it, take it to get the battery changed, and we rescheduled the dealership to noon. And
I feel like cars should have a battery gauge.
I've always said that.
A fuel gauge. That'd be nice if they had like another little meter that would tell you how much.
Yeah,
because you can easily test that. They just they just plug the thing on it.
I think I'm at like 26,000 miles or something right now on my car, which means the battery's got to be going sometime soon.
Probably.
So it's so expensive.
You could take it to if you wanted to be proactive, which I doubt you do.
Take it to the auto shop.
You can take it there and they'll test it for free. Let you know how close it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as the guy came out, he was like, "Let me test it." So he tested it, and he was like, "Yeah, it just says bad. It just comes up and says bad."
Wrong.
Yeah.
YOLO.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was probably just a sticker that said bad. It never actually says good. But still,
yeah.
I knew it was bad because I had to drive it there. So that was a great way to start that. But yeah, friggin' batteries go every like 2 or 3 years almost.
Yeah. I think you're supposed to get like 3 years, 30,000 miles or so. One of the two.
That battery was actually from 2020. So it was actually 4 years, which isn't bad.
Well, nobody drove in 2020.
Well, that's fair. She did.
That's fair enough.
She could never work from home.
She's an essential worker.
Still, she was going to work when the shutdown was going on.
Not during the like shutdown, but
I think I was the only one going to work every day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I was until I wasn't.
Well,
thanks.
Yeah, that's true. I was gonna say, weren't you going to work until you weren't going to work?
Yeah. From earliest time available to latest time available.
I was getting that smooth time, smooth checks.
Yeah. So I'm just really over cars, and now I know not to do Nissan next time.
No.
I mean, for nothing else, just the stupid maintenance thing. They force you to get all this work done. That it's costing you more than the car's worth.
Like you get a Honda.
But I mean, then again, Monica bought her Nissan. It was a 16, the one that Mom has. It's a 15 or 16, and it's fine.
That's debatable.
What?
Except the roof leaks.
That's every Nissan. Alan's was leaking after a week.
I know.
That's just a clog. That's a clogged drain for their sunroof drains.
It's still a negative.
Yeah. I mean, like, nothing ever needed to be done. Nothing was wrong with it. It drives nice.
Yeah.
And that's got probably 70,000 miles on it. Nothing's ever needed to be changed.
Did Mom tell
we
you
never even changed the brakes.
Maybe Mom should look into that.
Oh, they're probably squealing. As a matter of fact, the last time we were in there, they were squealing really bad.
Yeah, she's not.
They probably still are.
People on the side of the car just watching the brakes go red from the side.
We should probably take it to the shop for her.
What skin is that?
Yeah, I don't. Last time we were in it, she said that she was going to take it, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I wonder.
Yeah. Did she tell you about her turn signal thing?
No.
She said while she drove to another state to try and come to your house.
What?
She told you that too, right?
Oh.
Yeah. When she
told me that she got lost.
Yeah. She went to a different town.
Yeah.
It was apparently pouring and the roof was leaking, obviously. And if she turned on her turn signals, the doors would lock and unlock.
Her seat would try to eject her.
Well, she said it scared her because she turned on the turn signal. The door started freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, well, at least
water getting in there.
Yeah.
That would be so annoying if it funneled over to her shoulder. So she just got drops on her shoulder constantly while she's driving.
That's the worst.
I'd be like, son of a.
My car did that last time it rained. Mm-hmm. I looked up and the lights,
drive with a raincoat
the dome lights were filled with water.
Oh, jeez.
There are sunroofs, man.
Those are the untold truths.
But it's like that's a 2016 versus a what, 24?
22 or 23. No, it's not 24.
Yeah. Still, that's a very large gap of years, and it's the same exact issue. That's a problem.
Two different kind of cars.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, two different models.
No, two different cars.
It's really not even that hard to make those,
Wait, hold on.
Seal tight.
She has a Jeep.
I'm talking about mine, the Kia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. You have the Kia. Yeah, neither of you have any.
Was leaking.
I was thinking of Alan's, which I think also does it.
Mm-hmm.
But he has Nissan.
Yeah. No, my Kia did it. I have a video of it on my phone.
Yeah.
Of it. It was pouring and there was water falling on me.
Why is that such a
lights
problem?
filled up with water.
To be fair, Kia sucks too.
What? No, they don't.
Most of them suck.
They're
Kia's
so
a lot
dope
better
now.
recently. I don't know about great. I honestly don't know, but I know they're a lot better. But the whole Nissan maintenance plan is really frustrating.
Yeah.
Like if you want to keep that warranty, we're gonna have to replace the engine in that car and the hubcaps.
So stupid.
Yeah, like we have to replace the spark plugs. All of these caps, replace the oil here, replace the fluid here.
Your windshield wipers got to go.
Yeah, I was like, what if I did that yesterday?
Replace the oil caps.
It doesn't matter if you did it yesterday, sir. We're required to do it if you want the warranty.
No.
That's pretty stupid.
No.
This coolant cap looks a little old. We got to get this out of here.
That's how they make money.
That's another set of
$50.
Yeah, we'll do the warranty fixes for free, but we charge you $10,000 in small parts,
basically,
in order to get the warranty.
Yeah, it's lame.
We're also going to get you a new printed manual.
Running $300 for the manual fee.
Yeah.
Well, it's a manual diagnosis fee. We found that you need a new one.
You need a new manual.
That's a separate price.
This is the manual. This is the manual for the new parts we're putting in there, so you know what to tinker with.
We have to get you a whole new manual for these parts.
Car repair.
Honestly, I could see something like that coming from a very high end, like Lamborghini or something, and they would pay that. Like, yeah, we upgraded some parts, but when we fixed up your car, here's a manual that has that. They would totally buy that.
Yeah, well, if you have enough money to buy the Lamborghini, you don't care about the $100 for the new manual.
Yeah. Well, that comes with a couple of things. It's also
I bet you they don't do it, but they should. Maybe I should get that idea and take 2%.
Luxury ones, they give you a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
Because you spend some, like, it includes, all of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You can just come in and ask for, like, a sandwich, and they'll give you a sandwich.
Yeah.
They just
sandwich?
Yeah. It's comes with the whole atmosphere and all of these services.
Yeah, you take your Mercedes in for service and you get a free glass of wine.
Mm-hmm. That's, probably.
You probably
I just saw the new BMW. I forget what model it is, but it's like that all of the doors open by themselves, like the same way the back, like the trunk would open. Yeah. They all can open by themselves, and it has the ambient lighting.
You mean
strips.
the suicide doors?
No, they're just regular doors.
They just open until they open too violently and somebody goes flying away.
Dies, yeah. That's a weapon. Yeah. Tell somebody, just go stand over there.
Stand right next to my car.
I'll lock it for you. It has
I
the
saw a
ambient
video
lighting
of
strips.
some cars that can turn around 180.
Oh, yeah, the like all four wheels turn.
Yeah, something like that. I was like, that should honestly have been invented a while ago. It's not.
Well, then you got a lot of people driving sideways to get around traffic.
Yeah.
Well, you
some
also
sick
got
maneuvering going on.
Every
car is the Batmobile.
The thing to rock you out. Yeah. To rock you out of situations. Not gonna lie, I would say those are pretty hot. I like the ones that bounce.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You got to get the flames on it though.
You gotta get the 26-inch rims.
Each door panel, where the rocker for the window would be, it's a screen, and it has options of stuff you can click. Like you can change the color of the ambient lighting strip. And there's a drop, almost like an old school van, how it has a drop down screen. It's like, it's like a wide, it's like my computer monitor. It's like a wide screen, like 40-inch that comes down, like a HD. It looks like a Sony TV crazy. That comes down.
A shanty TV?
It was exactly a shanty. Well, it was more.
This, I'm sure it's higher grade than a shanty.
Yeah,
you don't
more
want
fancy than a shanty. Yeah. It was a fancy shanty.
That's a shanty.
Oh, it's French.
Yeah, you gotta get that shanty if you want it in there.
Like all of the buttons on the console, like even the rockers for like the volume, they're physical, but they're touch. So you just like swipe your finger on it, and it looks insane. I believe it said 200,000 pounds. So I don't know.
Jeez.
It's probably around $200,000 is what somewhere in that vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
That's
that makes me think of the guy that reviews those special cars and is like, hey, if you like this, or like you want to do this with your car, you can have this, or if you like to do this, and he like shows all these features of like these really nice cars, and that kind of sounds like that.
I don't think it was a concept car, but it was like just like insanely nice. Looked like it was made of glass. It just
probably
was super fancy.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see what we go with next time. I'm happy with my Mazda. Mazda don't care. Which I'm not.
It's going strong.
Yeah, you bring it in. They're like, what do you want? I want a new car. All right, we'll pick one.
Yeah, go out there, dude.
Yeah, go find one. If you want it, tell me. All right. Thanks, man. They don't answer.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't give two craps. Man. Besides getting the actual deal done. Once you leave, they're like, if you have a problem, you can come bring it to the shop, but otherwise have a nice life.
Well, it's worked.
Yeah, the car is fine. They're just they're very no BS. They don't throw any frills in, but there's no BS either. Just very minimalistic.
That's a sweet car.
Yeah, I like the car. That's why I got it. It came with so much for so cheap a price, and it was really nice. Good.
I watched a video and a guy explained it pretty well. He said the difference between Japanese cars and German cars, they both work and are built to work very well. But the thing with German cars, you have to maintenance them and they'll just last forever. They'll always work. With the Japanese cars, they said, we'll just make sure that it works. It doesn't matter what you do with it. You can fix it. We'll just make sure it works. So with those kind of cars, so the Japanese cars, they made it so you can do a lot of things to it and modify it, if you, and they like, we know you're gonna miss oil change, so we're gonna make sure it still works even if you miss an oil change. But with German cars, you have to, if you maintenance it very well, it'll run.
But you have to do the
until it'll run forever. But so will Japanese cars. But they're like, it'll run. You can put whatever in it.
You know what kind of cars I like?
Wrong.
We don't drink the beers. We pour them out in the lake to support American business.
Because we're American.
Oh, that's great. Tag, Romney.
Someone had to take the picture.
This says the whole family. Somebody had to take the picture. Good stuff. It's more New Girl. Anyways, unless you guys have anything else, I think I've taken up enough time with Nick's fighting in my dealership, with also fighting.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. A couple weeks for you guys.
Same something.
Yeah,
I'm on vacation eating plum cots.
Shoot, I mean that's rough go too.
This is the first time I've even ever heard of a plum cot.
Yeah, me too.
I remember being like so confused when we saw them in the store. We were in like terraced heater, and it was like right in the front. It was like plum cot. We're like, what the heck is this? And I think we bought two. I took one home, and you took one home.
Yeah,
I tried.
Something that
this is so confusing.
Yeah, it's just
something
weird.
that I've eaten for the
fruit.
first time is cotton candy grapes or something like that.
Yeah, I just
have you
had
heard about those?
So good.
I just had
I had one for the first time like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "What are the? Where are these? How is this a thing? What is happening?"
She
I've
brought
been meaning
them
to look
home.
that up.
She brought
I was
them
like,
back
what is
home, and we
happening?
were like, I was shoveling them in my mouth. They're
I
phenomenal.
don't know how it works. Are they injecting it with like
I don't
cotton
know.
candy or like
I don't know, but if you freeze
Crystal
them,
Light?
and suck on
I
them.
tell you what, that does not say GMO free.
Do they normally?
Huh?
Non-GMOs?
Yeah.
Or is it MSG free?
I think it's MSG
That's
for Nick.
packed full of MSG.
They add MSG when they see Nick come in.
It's almost all.
We got you, sir.
It's almost all MSG, which is why it's umami. That's pretty good though.
But yeah, that's whenever Jazzy sees them, she gets them because she knows
They're
I
so
like 'em.
good.
I just had a whole plate full as
Just
my
had
dinner
that.
before we
I
got on.
heard that for the first time. So there's new stuff happening, and I'm trying to get with the times.
She sees them at like Harris Teeter and stuff, and they're in like a normal size package. She went to, I think it might have been Costco, and they had the obviously the Costco
big
size one.
Yeah,
it's like 4 of the normal packages.
that's
So
what they should be
delicious.
called. Would you like regular or Costco size?
Freeze
Yeah.
them so they don't go bad. They're phenomenal frozen.
Yeah,
Really?
I like them. I don't like them as much frozen. I don't know why.
Imagine if you freeze them and make like a little smoothie or whatever out of them.
Well, it kind
Yeah.
of defeats the
Pretty
purpose, no?
What?
Like if you blend them and make them into a smoothie, what's the point of having frozen them in the first place?
Because they make that's what you do. You put frozen fruit in the blender with
Yeah, but
milk.
I don't think the frozen's on purpose. The
Frozen
frozen's
is-
to keep
yeah.
it from going bad.
Yeah, frozen's
Well,
convenience.
that's what I was saying is what made me think about it was you said freeze them. And I'm like, well, that would be perfect if you did freeze them and put them in a
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Anyway,
Just as a side note, you could also put them in a
Yeah.
smoothie.
It'd
Gotcha.
probably be
if you're
banging
gonna
in a
freeze them,
smoothie.
might as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gave him an
Damn
idea.
it.
I mean, come on.
No, I know a lot of people do that with grapes. It's like a hidden, like a life hack is to eat.
I've never
eat them
Just some
heard of it.
frozen.
treats.
But I also grew up eating them from the vine, so I mean, they are really good. When
not all of us grew up in Sonoma, California.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
I lived in Nashville on a farm.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. You had grapevines?
Yeah.
I figured it might be too cold for those.
Not all the time. What are you talking about, Willis?
I don't know. I wasn't a farmer. I go to Harris Teeter.
Okay.
And it feels cold in there sometimes.
I mean, there's different seasons. I do know it was near this fallish time, so it's probably July or something, or maybe August, because I remember we would have, we'd rake leaves, and we had a tree that we put planks on, and we'd jump from there into the leaves.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were just saying we just jumped out of the tree completely as a separate thing.
Normal hick stuff,
Yeah. We rake leaves and then we jumped out of the tree after. It made more sense once you said into the leaves. I just didn't see that coming.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, those are pretty delicious. But Costco, you can't buy a normal size, which I wouldn't have wanted it, but it's a giant thing of cotton candy grapes.
I need another bag of those. She hasn't gotten them lately. We have grapes in the fridge right now. I don't know if they're cotton candy. She did not specify. I haven't had any yet. But if they're cotton candy, I'm going to be mad.
They've just been sitting there this whole time.
Well, she's eaten them and I haven't had a single one. So I wonder if they're cotton candy, but if they're not, they're not. That's upsetting as well. It's hard to go back to regular grapes after you've had cotton candy grapes.
I don't know. I think they're different. And they're
you should
eat one from that sweet of a grape.
They're the best grapes.
I like both.
What is happening?
Well, sometimes it almost tastes like a dessert, and I don't always want dessert. Even though grapes are
not that
like regular
sweet.
Grapes. No, it's
still
just
a
like
grape.
It's not. I don't know. I enjoy them differently. The same way it's almost like a candy, and that's kind of that's where it's in my head.
Yeah,
I don't want that every time. At best, I want a 50-50.
Every time. You know what you should do? You should make a party plate or a party bowl for yourself where it's half cotton candy grapes and just half regular grapes of the same color. You never know.
Yeah. And then I play roulette with it. I decide if it's going to be a good night or a bad night.
50-50. Really odd chances.
I'm about to be happy.
Have you ever flipped a coin and been shocked at what happened?
It's a 50-50 chance.
Here's a good question for you. Have either one of you actually had a grape flavored grape?
I think that wraps up today's podcast. Go ahead and cue the music.
I have a better question. Have you had a not flavored grape? Not grape flavored grape? Besides the cotton candy one? All right. Well, there you go. No, it was Taco Bell, actually. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Sawdust? Anyone?
No, you don't. No, you don't. You love Taco Bell. But
if you want to eat it.
Thank you guys for being here. This is our first video.
He wasn't serious. That was a serious question, wasn't it?
I don't
think we should dive into it, but that was a real question, wasn't it?
It was not.
I think he was joking.
Oh,
it was.
Oh, thank God.
Your tone made it seem kind of serious.
Yeah, but it's called acting.
Yeah. No, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I had a little bit of a doubt. But I gave you the benefit
it felt like it was a good time to transition into getting out of here. So I was like, let's go ahead and ask a ridiculous question about this ridiculous topic.
He made a funny joke. There you go. That one's for you, for your funny joke. But yeah, this was our first video one. So we'll see how this comes out in the editing, because I really don't know how this is going to go editing wise. Hello, that's your roommate back in there. Nice to know where he sleeps.
Just want to say hey.
Yeah.
Let's say hey at a different angle.
Yeah, maybe he should stay somewhere else.
Get this jerk out of here.
Somebody should let him know.
Someone should let him know.
But yeah, I'm gonna see how much of a torture process this is to edit. It's gonna be like 14 tracks.
Yeah.
Got 14 steaks over here.
14 steaks over here. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thanks for being willing to try it. Alan might join us again at some point. I talked to him and he said he would like to, but you know,
we'll see.
9:30 is kind of late for the man. He does wake up really early, which I think you do too, but still, he's an early bird. Because I can see on our text thread his bedtime silencing do not disturb
goes like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, like 8. It's like all of your messages will be silenced.
I generally go into bed between 8 and 9.
Yeah, which is him, but he's like, he goes to like sleep that early too, like he's out.
Yeah, if I go to bed before 9, I'm not seeing 9.
Yeah, I'm thinking of maybe a long time ago you might not have fallen asleep immediately.
Yeah,
I feel like you tend to watch a lot of movies previously.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Gotcha. No, yeah, he's the same. He's a very early bedtime bird. So we'll see if he can gather the strength to join us.
That'd be cool.
And for Nick,
I wake up at 8 and I go to sleep at like 2.
I was gonna say this is borderline.
Well, that's 6 hours.
6 a.m. for Nick.
Yeah, he's about to take the other half of his 5-hour energy. 5-hour energy.
No, I had half of it yesterday or the day before or something. No, the day before yesterday. And I took half of it today. I knew I was going to do the podcast.
He hasn't slept since then.
This is waiting for the podcast.
That's why I got
mixed up the days.
Something happened.
That explains your headache.
Yeah.
I've had the headphones on for 48 hours.
Drank a 2.5
Luckily,
hour energy 2 days ago.
It's gotten away, so I feel a lot better.
Well,
nice.
Oh, that's good. You're welcome. I'd like to take credit for that one.
Yep, thank you.
It's a stimulating conversation, along with the drugs you took. Yeah. Anyways, well, thanks for being here, guys. Next week would be mildly hot source. I'm getting my weeks mixed up.
Hot sources.
I still have to edit the 14-hour podcast that we did last time.
I thought we already split that.
No, I had the one before that.
Oh damn!
I had several banked up, and then I had the two-parter.
Shoot.
So I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna try and get that done, like maybe in the next couple days. Start posting those. Yeah, so I got plenty to work on.
That's pretty smart.
I told Alan, I was like, even if you don't join, can you just start editing?
Stop being a girl.
Just help a brother out. But all right, well, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. It's about bedtime.
Yeah, it is.
Past bedtime.
Oof.
And it's not past Nick's bedtime. We're getting there. All right, well, thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you all next time. Oh, we still have the email, mildlyfrustrating@gmail.com. Feel free to email us and tell us how awful this was. We should just go back to audio, which was borderline not entertaining anyway.
But now you get to see the face behind the blow.
Yeah, behind the blow. It's South Park. And the documentary.
Oh.
The 1 million fibers or something like that.
Yeah. No, that was Tal, A Million Little Fibers.
Yeah.
Behind the blow was Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. I guess it was. No, because I just watched it. It was while they were at summer camp.
A Million Little Fibers.
That's A Million Little Fibers. The Behind the Blow is where Terrence and Phillip break up, and they have
maybe I guess so. Oh, okay.
Don't forget tomorrow's Earth Day.
Yeah, that. You love Earth Day.
All right, fair enough.
That's that one. But all right. Well, enjoy your night, guys. We'll see you all next time. And all right, Nick just gave me the stare. All right, peace out.
Peace.
Frustrating, we're here to vent and chat. Laughing through the madness, yeah, we're dealing with all that. From the mundane to insane, we cover every spat. Mildly frustrating, where the real talk's at. Yeah, the real talk's at. Yeah, where the real talk's at. Yeah, it's mildly frustrating, come along for the ride. We're turning all the rants into something bona fide. Join the crew, hit subscribe, we're here to provide. Mildly frustrating, let's take it all in stride. Yeah, mildly. Sure. Yeah.